Hi everyone, welcome back to Crochet Tutorials. I just wanted to show you this bag that I made from the daisy square from my last tutorial. Really simple to make. It is just, of course, made entirely out of the squares. As you can see on the sides here, we've got the orange squares that wrap around to the other side, and on the base here, that blue square does the same. So let's have a look at how I made it. So the bag itself is made from 13 squares. So essentially just laying the squares to become the peaks of the handles where the handles are going to attach, and then a center square and two for the bottom, and then one square will wrap around on each side and one at the bottom. So the other side is exactly the same. This square, of course, is the same square from the front, and again, so is this. And so it's just 5 squares with the 3 on the side. So 5 squares on either side, plus these additional 3, it's 13 squares in total, which is really super doable. I have joined it all with the zigzag slip stitch. I'll just zoom in on that. And as you can see, it gives a really nice finish to these squares. I didn't do a lot in regards to edging. Let's go back out. Didn't do a lot in regards to edging around the throat of the bag here. And that's because actually, despite the bag being, a foot by a foot, it isn't an enormous opening when you actually get in. So I didn't want to reduce that even further by really working along the throat. I've got to say actually that I'm not completely convinced on this blue on the handles. My daughter, who this bag is for, said that she really likes the blue. So I initially intended to add the blue just to the base of the handle like that, just to complement the blue, because this is the only blue square. Every other square has 2. We've got 2 orange and there's 2 green. There's one on that side and there's one on that side. So every other square, there's 2 in the bag except the blue, of course, because it's an odd number. So I thought, all right, well, I'll add the blue to the handle, but I'm not convinced. If it were me, if it were my bag, I'd probably redo it and use potentially the purple colour, because it looks, I think, really nice against the grey. But she likes it, so it remains. So how did I do it? All I did, aside, of course, from the zigzag slip stitch, which you can see in a video that I'll link in the description, all I really did is come in and I only went just a little over a halfway up these top squares. So they're the top squares that hold the handles. So I only zigzagged about halfway, and then I widened that point a little bit by just going into a stitch, chaining 3 and going across to the corresponding stitch, and then chaining 3 again and going across, and sort of making a zigzag with the chain 3 back and forth across those to just widen that a little bit to enable, again, easier access into the bag. So that hole is quite large enough now, but if I had have gone all the way to the top and with the zigzag slip stitch, that would have been a much smaller opening. So with the, I stopped 3 stitches from the end here. You can see that that's attaching to that third last stitch, and then really it's only 2 stitches there, and then came around 2 stitches into the corner and made that a total of 5. So there are 5 stitches across here, and they're half double crochet, and then I just continued that row of 5 working backwards and forwards all the way along and attached it here. And of course I needed to attach it with the half double crochet there, so that's why that side has a ridge but this side doesn't. On the other side it's the opposite. So I did the same on the other side, of course, and then I thought, oh, I could have left it flat. I could have left that handle just a flat piece, but I thought actually it probably would have had a fair bit of stretch to it and potentially gotten a bit out of shape. So all I did was single crochet those two sides closed, and that is the bag. And I'm going to say my 13-year-old, who is notoriously difficult to impress, completely loves it, and it's so retro and it looks very, very cool. So that's a fantastic little project to make with your squares. Oh, I did line it. Yes, you will have noticed that I did line the bag. And I'm not a sewer. I'm not particularly good at sewing. I don't have a sewing machine. So all I did, and I've done this with a couple of bags that I've made, is just grab an old pillowcase and use the bottom of the pillowcase. So you've got an edge of the pillowcase and the bottom, and then you just need to cut that one side of the pillowcase to be around the size of the inside of the bag. Sew that edge up and hem this edge that you cut off the pillowcase down, and then hand sew it in. So as you can see, I am not a sewer, but that is the pillowcase lining there. So it's as simple as that. Actually, I found that this bag probably didn't need a lining because there's not a lot of enormous holes. But of course, if you want to keep a pen or your keys or something in the bag, then yeah, you really do need a lining. So I hope you make a bag with your squares. They are very cool for exactly that purpose, and you know, crochet is so in with the young teenagers nowadays. So this is the bag I made. I hope you make one. I'll sign off. I do hope you have an absolutely wonderful day, and thank you so much for being here. I'll see you next time.